Long time no see. I really haven't filmed a video reflection in a while, have I? There are quite a few updates that I'd like to talk about, but right now I'm filming because I wanted to share... Ah! God, what the hell is that? Oh, there was like this pinching sensation in my rib. I know. I wanted to film this because, yesterday and today, I went on a motorcycle trip with my dad. I went to my school, which is about 180 kilometers away, distance-wise on the road. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. It's been about uh, 2 months. No, a month and a half since I bought my motorcycle, and it's been less than a month since I registered it. I have about, I believe it's 600, or was it 7? I believe it's 700. I have 700 kilometers on, well, I have 600 kilometers on my bike, and then 100 more on my dad's bike, but we're both new, and it's been fun. You know, there's this interesting feeling of focus. I don't know, I want to go ride again. It's fun, it's very enjoyable. I didn't know it would be that fun, actually. And, you know, before I bought a motorcycle, I thought it was, well, I had this virtual image of what it would, you know, look and feel like me riding a bike. And I also had this ideal image of the bike I wanted, the riding style I wanted, and whatever. But once I started to ride my bike, first thing is, it's a lot more scary. It was a lot more scary than I initially thought. So I went into this basically completely blind. I didn't exactly have some MSF course. In Korea, you just get your license if you can go through a really short circuit. It takes about a minute, and if you can pass that circuit, you have your license, which makes absolutely no sense, but that's how they do it. So yeah, I didn't know how to use my gears. I didn't know how to shift up, down, rev matching. I didn't know how to ride, mostly, because in the circuit you really never surpass 15 kilometers per hour. Which, you know, some might argue you're faster on your feet if you're going that slow. Anyway, yeah, so I started riding, and then, you know, the first couple of days it was actually scary, and I really didn't want to ride too much because I didn't feel comfortable riding. As I said, it was scary. I didn't know what to expect. You know, every time I was on the road, it was just absolute chaos for me because everything's going so fast. I don't know what to look for. I don't know which situation's safe. So honestly, I really didn't want to ride my bike. I kind of dreaded riding it. Yeah, and then I got up the courage to go to a cafe that was a wee bit away from where I lived. It was about 20 kilometers away, so it wasn't that far, but it was far from me. So I went there, and then on the trip there, that's when I sort of started to be a bit more comfortable, you know, just a teensy bit more comfortable. I started to, you know, get the hang of shifting gears. I started, you know, maybe trying rev matching. It didn't work, but I did try. And then, you know, since I set a destination, I feel it's quite rewarding when you arrive there, because, yeah, motorcycling is comfortable, but it's not completely carefree. Like, you're not sleeping. You're still paying a lot of focus and a lot of attention on the road, on the surroundings. Of course, you get to see, like, you know, the amazing views in the countryside, and that's great, but you still have to pay a lot of attention on basically all your feet and your legs. It's like playing drums. I have never played drums before, but I would guess it's kind of similar to how it feels, because with your right hand, you're managing your throttle and your front brake. With your left, you're managing your clutch. With your left foot, you're managing your gears, and with your right foot, you're managing your rear brake. So there's an interesting harmony. It's like a instrument that you get to play with all your limbs. But yeah, I think that trip was when I started to get the hang of it. And then fast forward a couple of days, and then my dad bought his motorcycle, and we had to register it. And in Korea, if you want to register a bike, there's actually a test that you have to get before you can register a big bike. So over 250 cubic centimeters in displacement. If you have a motorcycle with an engine that has 250 cc or higher displacement, then you need to get a specific test for that bike. And the problem was, I'm not the only person who needs to get this test. There's like a lot of other different people who need to get this test. So what basically happened was, all the test stations were fully booked, except, or I say all as in all the places near me, in like a 50-kilometer radius, except for one, and that was a wee bit away. And so, since my dad, he had the license, but as I said, just because you have the license doesn't mean you can ride your bike. But I had some experience riding, 200 kilometers or so. So I took the bike and I rode it to the station and then back. That was about 100 kilometers total. And that was a big bike. That's a middle class bike. That was the SV650 645cc parallel, 645cc V-twin. Very fun bike. It's very strong. It's a very strong bike. So I rode that, and I think that's when it sort of clicked for me. It was fun because it was fast, but it clicked for me. I understood how I was supposed to drive, and a couple of other things too. I wasn't completely smooth with the clutch, rev matching, etc., but I got there and back. Now, and then today, or yesterday rather, I went on the bike trip with my dad. That was about, all in all, about a little over 400 kilometers. And that was, it was fun. It was fun. The trip there took about 4 hours, the breaks included. And yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. And now I can confidently say I know how to manage and operate my motorcycle, because I have about 700 kilometers on it. I know how to rev match on it. I know how to start smoothly. I know how to shift up and down, rear brake use, just stopping, starting, everything. Stalling, going up, on I don't know, what do you call this? On an incline. Yeah, so I really like this. I didn't know this obsession would last this long. Normally, when I'm obsessed with something, it lasts. It doesn't really last. That's kind of the point that I'm trying to make here. For instance, when I was obsessed with speakers and in-ear monitors, that went pretty long actually. But that still lasted only 3 months. I have behind me a pair of KEF LS wireless. I am wearing my pants. Don't worry, it's just short. Behind me is a pair of KEF LS wireless LS50 wireless 2s, which I have sold. They're gonna be gone in a couple days. I sold them because I don't use them and because they're too good for me. I'm pretty sure you realize my room's pretty small, but these are very strong speakers. Very impressive too. But as I said, it's too small. Also, I don't listen to music that much on my speakers. I also don't listen to music when I need to focus, which is when I sit at this table, and I also don't listen to music that often, actually. So yeah, so I sold these, but still, I enjoyed having them. But the point I want to make is I never have something for an extensive amount of time. It's, I don't know, the longest time I've held on to something was, I mean, not held on to something, but the longest time I've had an obsession for something. The last time something was, games, my computer. Yeah, that was 5 years ago. That was back in COVID. And yeah, and I was obsessed with playing video games. I was obsessed with, getting a better PC, playing Cyberpunk. I was obsessed with that. And I'm not obsessed now. I still like playing games. Sure, they're cool, but I wouldn't say I'm obsessed with it. But motorcycling now I am obsessed with. It started last October, so we're very close to this thing lasting about a year. We are very, very close to that. Anyway, it's a very rare experience for me personally. Something lasting this long is very rare for me. I'm still, looking at motorcycles that I want to buy. I'm still watching motorcycle content on YouTube. Ryan F9 is my new favorite YouTuber. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah. I also want to talk about the bikes that I'm considering buying. Firstly so here are my conditions. I really like my bike, which is the CB125R. I like it because I can go full throttle in 6th gear on a downward incline and it still will not surpass 120. I don't like it. I don't like that part, but I like the fact that I can rev it out. I like the fact that it's very, very forgiving. No matter how many mistakes you make, it's difficult to get yourself killed on that thing. It's slow, but it's the good kind of slow. It's the tricycle or bicycle with 4 wheels kind of slow. So it's like the training wheels of motorcycles. It's not that slow too. I mean, you can go where you want. I went on a 400-kilometer tour without a problem. It also has great fuel mileage. So those are the things that I like about it. What I don't like about it is basically it's a bit slow, and it's a naked bike, which I thought I like. I do like naked bikes, but the problem is I want to go a teensy bit faster. Actually, you know what? I don't want to go faster. I don't think it's about the speed. But it's sometimes I just want to overtake someone. That won't allow it because its its acceleration is just too slow at high speeds. It doesn't accelerate at high speeds. It just kind of crawls along the speedometer. So I don't like it about that. So I would like something a bit more stronger. But I've ridden my father's SV650. That bike is very fast, and I never get to use any gear above 4th because I just don't need to. 1st gear can get you through any place in the city, no problem. 2nd gear will get you through any countryside. 3rd gear is more than enough to get you through any fast lane, traffic more than 100 kilometers per hour. It is very fast. And 4th, 5th, and 6th, I don't even know what those are for. So I don't want a bike. So here are my conditions. Well, okay, before I get to conditions, I also, through this tour, I've learned, through this trip, I've learned that I actually prefer riding a bit a bit slower, a bit more laid back, just enjoying the view, taking it in, riding a bit relaxed, not really pulling the throttle too hard. I also want my bike to be comfortable, which my naked bike is. It's definitely comfortable. And I think I would like a bit more space to put luggage on, which that bike doesn't have. But I mean, I can put extensions on it, sure, but I'm gonna sell that bike. I'm already thinking about it. The only question is, what do I get after it? So I want a bike that's not too heavy too, because sometimes you have to move it around in the parking lot and whatever, but I don't want it to be too heavy. So yeah, those are my conditions. I want a reasonably light bike. As far as horsepower and anything else goes, I don't really care. If that thing's enough, anything above that category is more than enough. It's much more than enough. I don't really care about horsepower. I want a decently weighted bike that can give me some storage space, and I also want the design to be pleasing. And unreasonably so, I've been looking at Harley Davidson bikes, which I know that's unreasonable because it is. But I saw the Pan America and just, oof, I think I fell in love. This thing looks so cool. So hear me out. So there's the Pan America, and then there's the Fat Bob. And these look phenomenal. These bikes, man, these are beautiful bikes. They're slow, sure, but as I said, I don't want to go fast. That's not my main purpose of riding. I just want both of these look, and the reviews say they're comfortable. I don't want a fast bike. I want a decent bike that also, here's the thing, even if a bike can go 200 kilometers per hour, it can't, because I'm on it and I feel the wind. I don't know if the bike feels it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but I do. And the wind wants to kill you once you go anywhere above 120. It does not like you being up there. Not at all. Yes. Yeah. So, even if a bike can go fast, it doesn't really matter because I can't. Yeah. And another thing is, I want a bike with decent displacement, because that bike is super loud when I want to take it anywhere uphill. It's not like all my ears are gonna fall off loud, but it's not quiet either. I want it to be quiet when I want it to be quiet when I choose to be quiet, which that might be difficult. But so the Fat Bob. The problem with this guy is there's just one problem. It's so expensive. Oh my god. It's so expensive. I'm at a loss for how much I need to pay to get this thing. Oh my god, bro. This thing is very expensive. And the other thing that bothers me, if it's expensive, sure, I can save up, maybe. But the other thing is, it's very heavy. It's about 300 kilograms, which is double my bike and more. So, I don't know if I can handle that, but upsides are, it is a Harley, and it sounds cool and it looks amazing. Plus, it's a cruiser bike, so it's very comfortable. Second up is the R9T by BMW. Now the downsides here are pretty much the same, as in this thing is also incredibly expensive and it's also pretty heavy. And then there's the Pan America, which is cheaper than the other two, but this thing's still pretty pricey. Yeah, I like the Pan America. Personally, I really like the Pan America. It doesn't look too old. I'm sorry, Harley guys, but Fat Bob may look a bit too old. It also is a bit more sportier than the Fat Bob, so why not? Anyway, that aside, the realistic option is to go with the MT-03 from Yamaha. The realistic option is to buy anything from the Japanese guys. The Japanese guys are great because they're cheap, affordable, reliable, sustainable because I can get them fixed for cheap. They're very well built. They are not, the quality isn't cheap at all. Yeah, so, man, yeah, so, you know, the realistic part of me says get an MT-07, get a Japanese bike. And the other part of me says, nah, I want a cool big bike. But I don't know which side's gonna win, we'll see. There's another option, there's a CBX 500 by Honda. I like this because, well, it's a touring bike. It has the storage capacity that I want, and I can buy it. It's cheap. It's not dirt cheap or anything like that, but I mean, I don't need it to be dirt cheap. I just need it to be reasonably cheap. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to end up with, but if I do end up with something cool, I'll definitely be filming it. Anyway, that's about it for this video reflection. One last thing. When you ride a bike, it's only you, the oncoming traffic, the setting sun, and you, and your bike. So, I think that's a rare thing. I don't think, you know, the bike is the best way to relax, but I do think it's the best, most enjoyable way to travel. Now, I have not been on a jet, a helicopter, a jet ski, and a couple other things, but I think it's the best one on ground to travel on. It's the most enjoyable. It's so fun, and it's also fast. For a fraction of the cost, you can just blast any Ferrari, any Lamborghini on the street. They can't even touch you. Of course, I'm not saying that I did because I can't, not on that bike, and I just can't because I'm scared. But yeah, you can get the speed. I like riding my bike. I really like riding my bike. And yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here and see you guys next time. Bye bye.